Hey, how are you? I'm Roberta Colosino, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. We're starting to get our fall colors. It's not quite at what they call peak yet, but it's getting there. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm making some card bases that I realized I needed for tonight, for demonstration purposes. So I hope everybody's doing well tonight. My business name is 11 Lakes Stamper, and I come to you every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., give or take a minute or two, with a free crafting class showing you how to make mostly paper crafting, but sometimes some home decor items as well. Hi, Mimi. How are you? Thank you for joining us. We'd love it if you let us know where you're watching from. The other thing I wanted to say tonight, speaking of where people are watching from, is that I am really thinking, and I'm sure most of us are, of those folks in Florida who are in the path of Hurricane, oh my gosh, what's his name now? I forgot his name already. Just when people are cleaning up from Helena, now they've got another one coming, and that's just, it's hard to take. I have a place in Florida, and I've actually been in Florida when a couple of hurricanes have happened, and I think we've just been very lucky, to be honest with you, but I don't live there year-round, obviously, and that's the way I like it. I don't think I would want to live there year-round, because I like the spring and the fall here in upstate New York. And while we do get some bad storms, and a few years ago we had a really nasty one in Buffalo, not too far from here, we don't have to worry about getting blown off the map, and for the most part about don't have to worry about our houses being totally destroyed or people being really badly harmed. So they are in my thoughts and prayers today, and probably for the days to come, I'm sure, if not the weeks to come. All right, so on to different things. I'm going to turn the camera down, so give me just a second to do that. And again, if you are joining us, wherever you might be joining us from, it's really great if you just say hello and let us know where you're watching from. I had a customer and team member watch me last year, a video, well, maybe it was earlier this year, excuse the shaking, things are wobbly here, from Florida, and they were on vacation, and I was so touched that they were watching me while they were on vacation in Florida. Maybe it was raining or something, but either way, it was nice that they were watching. All right, that might be kind of as good as it gets. One more adjustment, and maybe, when I get a new phone, I'm going to consider using the old phone as my camera and just leaving it in the tripod all the time. However, I'm sure that the camera on a new phone is better than the camera on an old phone, and so I'm going to be inclined to do just the opposite. But we'll see what happens, because I hate to have to keep doing these adjustments every single week. Okay, there I am. Oh, hang on. Okay. I forgot to turn the sound off, which means that you will be hearing me twice, and once is enough. All right. Let's see. I could still move this back a titch, and then I'd have to move that a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That way I have a pretty good chance of being in camera view. All right, so I said I was going to bring you some ridiculously, oh, you're in Northern California, it's beautiful there. It's been 10 years since I was in California, but it's beautiful there. But then you people have to worry about forest fires and things like that, right? That's tough too, because that's really frightening, really frightening. I think fire's one of the scariest things around. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, Mimi. I appreciate it. So I said I would bring you some ridiculously easy cards today, and the reason they're ridiculously easy is because they're using some products that Stampin' Up! Sells called Memory and More cards, and then there are also some things in our current catalog that are called ephemera packs and such. So the Memory and More cards were something that was developed way back. Well, I don't remember what year. I wasn't a demonstrator then. I've only been a demonstrator for 6 years. But they were developed way back when Stampin' Up! Had a relationship with Project Life. And Project Life was a company, it's still in existence, started by, I can never remember her name, but started by a woman who knew that not everybody had the hours in a day that it took to put together a 12 by 12 layout for a scrapbook. And so she designed something, and I think she might have been the original designer of this concept, but I can't swear to that. She designed something called pocket scrapbooking. And so Project Life sold albums and pages that you could put 4x6 or 3x4 photos in them in the little individual pockets. So kind of think of those pockets that baseball collectors use or whatever. It was that type of a thing, as opposed to the old, albums where you flipped open the sticky page and stuck them on, or you put them on with corners or whatever. And because that could be kind of dull, and she knew that, she developed these cards that could go in some of the spaces on the page. And I'll have to show you one of mine. I had a really great one that I made as a gift for a woman, and at one point I wanted to borrow it back, but then she passed away, and so I'm not asking if I can borrow it back. Anyway, so this is my business name right here, and this is the host code for this month, and there are so many promotions going on this month, I can't even believe it. I feel like it must have been some kind of a mistake, because I've never known Stampin' Up! To run so many promotions concurrently. It's kind of weird. So the first thing is the stamp sale, which I did post in the group a couple of days ago. So today is the last day of the stamp sale. So they go on Mountain Time, so they're 2 hours behind us, so that gives you a little more time. But if you want to make a purchase tonight, you would want to do that before like 11:50 p.m. standard, or Mountain Time, okay? And the stamp sets are 15% off, which is really pretty good. So if you should decide to purchase some of those, I would really appreciate your business. I would love it if you would shop with me by going to www.rcolosinostampingup.net and using this host code. And there is also a link to my store at the top of the page under Featured. They are also having a 30% off sale on all of our kits. And the kit sale goes on this entire month, so you have until Halloween night to finish your shopping. And the kits are wonderful because they come in two varieties. There is either one that involves stamping, and it's all inclusive, so everything you need, including the stamps and a block and an ink pad, will be included. And then there are some for people who just aren't into stamping, and those will have no stamping. Those will have ephemera or little cutout pieces that you can just put into place, just glue into place, or use dimensionals. Then this isn't necessarily a special, but World Card Making Day. Oh, that happened already. Never mind. Cancel World Card Making Day. That was Saturday. All right, so forget that. If you attended, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, well, you missed it till next year. But it's always about the same time. I don't know if it's always the same date or if it's the first Saturday in October. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, we also have new scrapbooking products, and if you weren't watching last week, I showed some of those products, and the week before I demonstrated how to put together some of those products. And that's for the people who really still like the 12 by 12 layout, but don't want to do all the thinking on their own. So they have these kits where you honestly don't have to do much but cut things out. Then we have two new kits being introduced. There are two new kits introduced every month. One is called a Look Back Kit, and it's actually kind of a journaling album kit, and that's kind of neat. So even if you're not a journaler, but if you're also not really a scrapbooker, this type of journal is amazing, because if you're going on a trip, take it with you, and every night take a few minutes to sit down and write what you did. Take some pictures, if you have an instant camera. If not, take some pictures that you can put in later. Take receipts or memorabilia from places that you visited. The other one is an airplane kit, which is nice because many people are complaining that we don't have enough in the way of masculine kits and masculine things in general. Then we have two new online exclusives. These do not go live, I believe, until November. If you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can pre-order them right now. So one of them is called Utterly Adorable, and it really is adorable. It's a sweet collection. It comes with the Designer Series paper, and it comes with some really beautiful, I guess it's kind of a twine, but it's much prettier than a twine. And it comes, of course, with the stamps and the dies, and some of the dies will actually cut out some of the Designer Series paper, which is amazing because then you don't have to fussy cut. And they look like they'd make really cute cards, but not even just kids' cards, because there are some pictures where the otters are kind of like hugging each other, and it could be such a cute happy anniversary card. And then there's the Marbled Elegance Suite Collection, which certainly is intended for Valentine's Day. That comes with some stamps and with some dies and some really pretty paper, and it comes with some gold twine. And here's kind of a more close-up look of that right here. So it's something that you could make a little gift bag for someone out of the designer series paper, which would be really nice. You could cut out multiple hearts and use them in a layering effect on the top, but this paper is marbled with gold foil. It's just gorgeous, just gorgeous. I don't think, no, there isn't an embossing folder, but it does come with gift bags. So those are really cute. They're smaller gift bags. They're not huge. The larger one is about the size of a regular lunch bag with maybe an inch or two cut off the top. I think that might explain it well. And there's a QR code here that you can scan to see it better. I lied already to you. There is an embossing folder. So that comes in just a bundle. If you choose not to get the whole suite, you can just get the Happy Hibiscus bundle, which is part of the suite, I think, or you can just get the Hearts of Elegance suite. All right, and then last but not least, and I hate to do all these commercials, but then people tell me that I don't tell them stuff. So they're having a starter kit special right now. I say this till I'm blue in the face, but honestly, hang on, I'm just going to cross this one number out because this is for Canadians, and sometimes that gets confusing. People read the wrong country because the Canadians and the Australians pay a lot more, I'm guessing because of currency rates and whatnot, than we do. So their price is scary, whereas our price isn't scary at all. So you are going to get $155 US in products for $99. That's it. Okay, oh, and then there's the Canadian one. I'm going to cross that out too. If you're Canadian, it's $135 instead of $99, and you get $200 worth of products. So I forget sometimes that people are watching me from who knows where. So basically, you join my team, and you do that by going to that same website, www.rcolosino.stampinup.net, and you click on Join, and you join my team. And it's great to be a team member because then you're part of something bigger. We will have meetings and things like that. The bigger my team grows, to be honest, the more things I think we'll be able to do. But you're not obligated to do a thing, but take those $99 worth of products, or really $155 worth of products, take them home and love them and enjoy them. You don't have to give them back if you decide that you don't want to remain a demonstrator. If you join in October, you have almost 6 months to remain a demonstrator. And what's cool about that is that during that 6 months, you get a 20% discount on everything you buy. And you also get a commission on it, which doesn't seem to make sense, but I promise it's true. Because basically you're being a customer, only you're being your own customer. And if you happen to have a few friends or family members who want to order something from you, then that's just icing on the cake. And at the end of your trial period, if you should decide that you don't want to be a demonstrator, or you haven't spent $300 during that time, then they just drop you. Nobody calls you, nobody bothers you, nobody says give that stuff back, it's yours to keep. And 6 months down the road, if you decide you'd like to give it a try again, you can do it again. I just have a woman who signed up for the second time to be a demonstrator with me. She has no intention of doing what I do. She has no intention of holding classes or making videos, and nobody expects her to. All right, she just comes to my classes for the most part, and she enjoys her craft supplies, and that's it. So, and then the other thing to take a look at, if you're interested, you can also see that here on the group, is my daily Creative Prompts calendar. And every time you see something in pink, that's an opportunity for you to win a prize by doing almost nothing but posting a picture of something that you've made. So consider doing that. Okay, I'll leave that here for a while in case anybody needs to copy that information. Until it gets in the way, then I usually get rid of it. So back to the Memories and More card packs. So the Memory and More card packs look like this, and I have a drawer full of them over there. I probably should have gotten them all out because I order them, but then I don't use them all up. So they come in either 4x6, which I already mentioned. Oh, I don't want to lose that. They come in 4x6 and 2x4. A ruler might be helpful. Excuse me for reaching. Oh, and it is a reach. This is a very big table. Okay, no, it's 3 3x4. That's it, 3x4 and 4x6. And every Memory and More card pack comes with a number of these. I think there's at least 2 of each, or maybe there's 4 of each. Let's see, there's 4 of each. So here's an example, okay, and this is a current one. This one is available now. We've got Winter Blessings with the deer on it, but on the back, there's a spot where you can journal. And even if you don't write a lot of stuff, just to write, you know, this is Susie and Bobby, Christmas Day, 19 whatever, 2000 whatever, opening presents or whatever. And then this one says Warm Wishes, and on the back, it's just a pretty design. This one, I think, is the same as that one. Okay, we'll put those together. Merry Christmas, but on the back, there's a spot where you could journal, or a spot where you could even put a small picture, you know, like the kids' school pictures, how small those are. Kind of wallet size, I guess that would be called. So you could put one of those there as well. Enjoy the gifts of the season. And then here is just some more pretty design. And I'll show you some cards made with these in a minute, because you're going to be a little bit surprised. So here's another spot where you could journal, or you could put a picture. Or you could glue on a piece of memorabilia, for that matter, tickets to a show or something like that. Here's some more of those cute deer, and on the back a Christmas tree. So you have options. But because they give you multiples, I think the reason I don't have 4 is because at this event that I went to, we were all given half a pack. So that's why I only have 2, but I'm pretty sure there's 4 in each. All right, so Christmas tree, this one you've already seen. And then there are the larger ones. Hang on. Then there are the larger ones. Okay. And I think we didn't get quite as many of these. Maybe we did, but we used them for cards. So this is the 4x6, very merry, and then just a design on the back, the cute reindeer, and then a spot on the back where you could journal or do what you please. All right, now see, now I have 4 of those, so I don't know. I'll have to check the catalog. I do think you get 4 of each. So some journaling spot here. The other thing I thought of too, and this is because the cost of postage is getting really high, and I'm always encouraging people to send cards to people who are shut-ins, or people who are ill, or people who just, you know, maybe they live alone and they don't have much company or whatever, and just let them know that you're thinking of them. Send a birthday card, but it's getting harder and harder. I think that the U.S. first-class stamp is now up to 73 cents, and they're saying it's going to go up like 5 more times in the next, I don't know how many years. So that's a lot. So where I'm going with that is that you could, it's a little different, but you could send a postcard. And 4x6 is the exact size of a postcard. And the U.S. postage stamp for a postcard was 35 cents the last time I knew, and it doesn't always go up when the regular postage goes up. So you could put an address sticker for someone, let's say over here, put your stamp up in the corner, and then write them a message over here and send them a postcard. I know it's not quite the same as a card, but if you can send something for 35 cents instead of 73 cents, then maybe it's not a bad idea. And it's kind of unique, and people might appreciate it. So you can only use the larger cards for that, obviously. Also, in the Memory and More card kits, card packs, come sheets of stickers. And my stickers are stuck. Oh, no, here they are. So these are actually stickers. And there's 2 different sheets, and again, I think you get 4, so you get 2 of each. And I don't believe we actually use these in our workshop or at this event, so I still have these, so these can be added to cards. All right, and then they also sell what's called the Memory and More cards and envelopes. Now, they did not give us the Memory and More cards and envelopes at this event that I went to. At least I don't think so. But they do have them. So this is an example. This is in the annual catalog, and obviously this one is not Christmas at all. So this one contains, I believe it is, 5 cards and 5 envelopes. The envelopes are decorated inside and out, and the cards come the perfect size, and they're already pre-scored. So you just fold them in half and you've got a card. But the idea behind these is that if there's a matching Memory and More card pack that goes with this, that you would then take these cards and mount them on the front of the card base. You might have to trim them a little bit. You might have to mount them on, but this I don't think is a Memory and More card. Yeah, this is just cards and envelopes. The ones I believe that are Memory and More, that are meant to go with these, you will be able to fit these on there. All right, and unfortunately I don't have a sample of those to show you, but I think you get the idea. So what they had us do, and this is where you can do kind of a hybrid, you can do a mixture of two things, whatever thing you enjoy the most, was that they gave us at this event, well, hang on, let me get back to this one. So these are also Christmas ephemera. Now these are in the annual catalog and in the holiday catalog both. We have them for regular things, not holiday like the ones I just showed you, or we have them for holiday. And these have sentiments that are just ready. These are not stickers, they're ephemera pieces. They just poke out. You just punch them out, and they're very well made, they're very sturdy, and you just stick them on there so that if you choose, you don't have to do any stamping. And there were quite a few in each kit, so they're not all the same. And there were also, look at that one, says Noel, and some of them are quite bold, which is very nice. And then there were also these gold greetings, some of which we used, and they punch out as well. So we have Merry and we have Christmas, we have Season's Greetings, we have Holidays. Let's just punch one of those out so that you can kind of see it on its own. So these are a little bit more delicate than the stickers and then these pieces because they're, like laser cut. So it comes out, it's in cursive, and you just want to be real careful pulling it out. And then there's a piece there that just needs to pop out of the middle of the D. Okay, we get rid of that. And then this would sit on the front of your card. And how pretty would that be? So those are just lovely as well. So you can buy a combination of the Memory and More cards, the Memory and More card packs. Gets confusing because they all have a similar name. All right, so this was from the event that I was at this weekend. Those things, the Christmas ones, were from the event I was at the weekend before. And that's, by the way, another very cool thing. Hey, Amy, how are you? A very cool thing about being a demonstrator is that there are some demonstrator-only events that are designed for us to share ideas with each other, and we make things, and we learn some new techniques from each other. We talk about some business ideas if people are into that, and those events are always wonderful. So at this event, they gave us one of the stamp cases, and this is a neat idea too. They decorated it by just putting a piece of designer series paper that was cut to fit right down in there. And in here was some of the ephemera from the annual catalog, I believe. So again, these are not stickers, they're the punch-out kind. So there's flowers and there's leaves, and these are not all the same. And then there's this flower that you can cut out, and I think it was that flower, or maybe another one that what we did was we took the blending brushes, so we punched that out, took the blending brushes and just very kind of loosely blended on a color for the rose and some color for the leaves. And it was kind of like watercoloring in that it wasn't perfect. There would still be a little bit of white showing, and that didn't matter. And then you've got these flowers here, and they're lovely, they're well made, and they're very pretty. They're not chintzy in any way. And then you've got your sentiments. So you've got these pretty laser cut ones, good luck, hip hip hooray, celebrate, birthday, birthday wishes. What does that one say? Oh hey, okay. And then you've got these sentiments that you can also punch out. So again, if you're not into stamping, which just breaks my heart, but if you're not into stamping, then we have something for you too, okay? We don't want you to be left out just because you don't love stamping. So at this event, what we did, oh, and then there's some blank ones that you could stamp on, or you could even handwrite. A lady at my class yesterday, who I've known for many years, suddenly mentioned yesterday that she does calligraphy, and she couldn't find exactly what she wanted in the way of a sentiment to fit the area on her card where she wanted to put it, and she told us all that because she does calligraphy, she was going to go home and do her own sentiment. I had no idea she did calligraphy. I asked her if she hired out, and she just laughed at me, so I think that means no. She probably just doesn't want to be doing that for other people. Okay, so, and I can jump back to the Christmas in a minute because I just found something else I thought I had seen. So they had a template for us to make this little bag. And basically this little bag is meant to hold about, well, how many cards did I just stuff in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in envelopes with embellishments, and I managed to fit all of those in here, and I didn't break the bag. Okay, and this was super easy to make. I can show you how to make that at some point, not tonight probably, but at some point. So we used, and this is really pretty, I always tell the ladies in my class, no naked envelopes and no naked insides. So the inside of your card shouldn't just be this vast, wide open space. It should have something on it. And unless you're planning on writing a great big message, which some people do, then a good idea is to put a little bit of stamping or a strip of paper or something on the inside so that it's just not you writing, "Dear so-and-so, love so-and-so," because that just leaves this big, wide open white area. So this is always a good idea. You cut these. It needs to be 2.5, I believe, by 6 to fit on here. You glue it on and then just trim it around the edges. You see the sparkle in there? So this card has sparkle on it. So for this card, we used a regular card base. There was an embossing folder. I think it was the distressed brick embossing folder that was used on the top layer. And then the glimmer paper in the new in colors. It's so pretty. And you know what's nice about it? Because I hate glitter. Let me repeat that. I hate glitter. Do you know what I call glitter? I call it the herpes of craft supplies. Yeah, I just hate it. Or devil dust. I have lots of names for glitter. This paper has all the shine of glitter and absolutely nothing comes off on you. Have you ever opened a card from someone and had glitter just fall out everywhere? It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. And then we did use these, which are from the... Hold please, because I always forget, so I think I have them right here. Yes, these are the Spotlight on Nature dies, and even if you have no interest in the stamp set, these dies are amazing. They're just beautiful. So they did use those dies, but then they used the ephemera from the ephemera pack for the pretty rose and these 2 small flowers here, and then we made a bow. And we even had a little class on how to make bow making easier. I already knew the trick, but I will show it online as well at some point so that you can see it. So how pretty is that? So this is kind of a little bit of regular card making, but with that thrown in. And there was nothing on the inside because everyone decided that they would decide what to put on the inside when they had a use for the card. But we could certainly use those sentiments from that ephemera pack. And again, you might not have to stamp a single thing. So that one was there. And you do have to watch out for the bows. And again, with the postage, you do have to be careful because if it doesn't fit through this little window that they have at the post office, they ask you to put an extra, I think it's 11 cents for a non-machinable, or if you don't want it getting bent, because the cards go through a rolling system at the post office. I had someone show it to me once. And if your card has like stuff that would crack or break or whatever in it, yeah, you might not want it going through that. Okay, so this one, kind of the same deal. They used this distressed brick folder for everything, just for every card that we made. And then here we use the distressed tile embossing folder. And we used some DSP, which I have, I can tell you what it is. And we used this ribbon and these bows for every card that we made. But we used the ephemera pack on the outside as our focal point. And again, the envelope is done in the matching Designer Series paper to that. So how lovely is that? I mean, these are all just beautiful. And I have to stop hoarding my cards. I need to take pictures of them so that I have the record of them, but then I need to send them out because sometimes I fall in love with a card and I don't want to give it away, and that's not good. That's not good, and I know it's not good. So again, the distressed brick, this time some other Designer Series paper, and another one of those... why can't I remember the name of this? Spotlight on Nature dies. This one time the smaller one done in peach pie. And then another piece of ephemera and another ribbon. So what's nice about this is that it was almost sort of assembly line. Not totally because you were using different products, but you had every card base was white and then a sheet of this already embossed got glued on every card base, and then you had all the things that you needed in an envelope, which is how I do it in my classes. It's either in an envelope or in a bag or something. And they took everything out, we took everything out and we put it together. And so where it might normally take quite a while to make 7 cards, it didn't take long at all. And that's what it's like if you come to my coffee and a card. All of that cutting and everything is done for you. You don't have to do any of that. At regular classes, sometimes you do, but at coffee and a card, you do not. There was this little blue piece and I couldn't remember. I think it was supposed to go in here and I forgot to put it there. So I just left it. So this is really lovely. Same thing, and I think, no, this one goes this way too. So same embossing folder. Really pretty paper here, and the lovely blue flowers, light blue flowers, and the Spotlight on Nature dies again, and the bow again. So it's just kind of, I used to like to call this kind of thing lick 'em, stick 'em, because all you have to do is put the glue on the back, and you're good to go. It's all done, and it honestly does not take very long. I think I might have put that one in the wrong envelope, but I'm not sure. All right, this one, I don't know why this one, oh, this is a Christmas card. Okay, this was a totally different thing. I'll get to that in a minute since it's Christmas. That's why there were 7 and not 6. All right. So this one was very basic, and I think what happened was we ran out of time, and this was the one that we were going to use the blending brushes on, and I didn't have time to do that, so I didn't finish it. But that's what we do, use blending brushes in a color for these, and actually the leaves, the greenery, whatever you want to call it, doesn't even have to be colored. And then this just, put it on dimensionals and goes right there. And these are, if you can see them, they're 3 strips, and they're 1 inch probably by 4 inches maybe, or 4.5 inches, and everything was cut out for us. They just handed it to us, and we just had to put it together. So if you're ever interested in making cards that way, where you really don't have to work too hard, then Coffee and a Card is the place for you. And you can find the announcement every month on the group that you're watching now, 11 Lakes Stamper Creatives. So this one, I don't know if that's supposed to be, I think it's a combination of peach pie and possibly pumpkin pie. So this one, same embossing folder, but we had 3 strips of that paper. One of them's a little bit thinner, and I wasn't sure if that was an accident or if it was just to make things fit. And then we have the peach pie glimmer paper, and then this lovely thing here. I chose to leave mine black and white, but you could take your watercolor pencils or colored pencils or markers, whatever you have, and you could color that if you wanted to. I kind of like the pop of black and white on that background, but that's just me. You do you. So that is those, okay? And again, that would be kind of an advertisement for my Coffee and a Card, because that's exactly how it happens there. Although one of my ladies yesterday might not agree that it was all very easy. I gave her a fun fold to do with a lot of gluing, and she was the only one that wanted to make Halloween cards. And so as a result of that, I made a special kit just for her, and I kind of wanted it to be special, and I think it was a little too special. I think I overdid it. All right, so these are the Christmas cards that we made at that one event. I'll get to this one in a minute that I wanted to show you. So this one, yes, it uses the Memory and More cards that I just showed you a little while ago. It uses, in fact, it's probably right here. Yep, it uses this card right here, but it also uses, hang on, I'm reaching again, sorry. It also uses, I gotta find it. It also uses this one. And as I recall, we had to trim it down because we also wanted to back it on a piece of real red paper. And we backed this Memory and More card on the back on a piece of real red paper. And then we put a little bit of ribbon behind it and some of the iridescent pearl gems. So it's kind of a cross between using some regular paper and using the Memory and More cards, adding some ribbon, adding an embellishment. It's all on a white card base, and there's no designer paper series used here at all. No designer series paper used here at all. And this just ends up looking like that's what it is, but it really isn't. Okay, so that's what makes that one very cool. At least I think so. Then we've got this one. And they gave us all these wonderful clear envelopes to put them in so that they would remain safe, because, people were snacking and drinking, and you try to be very careful when you're doing crafting, especially with paper, around snacks and drinks. So this is this one right here, and as you can see, this one didn't get cut at all, but it got mounted on a piece of real red paper that's about 1/8 of an inch larger. Then we use this ribbon. It's really neat. It's pool party ribbon with little white pom-poms on it, and there's an embossing folder in the back, and it's the Snowfall embossing folder that carried over from last year's catalog, I believe. And we pop these up on dimensionals, the top part, and then we've got some of the iridescent rhinestones on there. And again, I think nothing on the inside. We did put a white liner on the inside, but nothing else on the inside. So again, no designer series paper used, but yes, there was some embossing, but there's no rule that says you have to do that either. So that was just something that we chose to do. Or I guess they chose for us because they gave us all these kits ready to make. Now this one is kind of cool, and you might be looking at it and thinking, oh, okay, here's where you use some designer series paper, but no, we did not. We used, let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Which is the one that had the tree on the back. Here we go. We used this one here, but the back for the tree, and we did not cut it at all. And then for the sides on this card, right here, because there was an extra piece, what we used was the back of this Memory and More card. There it is. And we just cut 2 1-inch strips off of this. So again, no designer series paper used, but this created that same look for you without having to purchase designer series paper, because you get enough of these, especially if you send a lot of Christmas cards. If you bought 2 packs, you'd have everything you absolutely needed using pieces from the front and or the back. So that's kind of just sort of like stretching your dollar, I guess I would call that. All right, and then the next one is this one here. And there's something missing, and I know there's something missing because we made a card that had this on one side of it, and this was the back of one of the Memory and More cards. In fact, it was the back of this one. So I may not have finished that card, and if I didn't finish it, I might have left it in a different pile. But this one used the larger Memories and More card, and then just used the back of the same card for another card. And then this one is mounted on, this one instead of white was done on the Old Olive cardstock, and with a little bit of the Real Red cardstock. So that was a wonderful way to make cards. No stamps, no inks, no, none of that stuff was used. No designer series paper. This one did use some designer series paper. This was also at this weekend's event. I see I didn't do a very good job of folding my card. This one was, okay, I remember. This one was mystery stamping, which I have to tell you, I don't completely get mystery stamping. I don't mean to sound dumb, but I don't totally understand mystery stamping. So basically she gave us directions and we put it together, and I made a few mistakes, but that's okay, because that's part of the fun of it, I guess, is that you interpret her directions the way you want. I have to watch some other demonstrators do mystery stamping. Well, I have, and they seem to all do it a little bit differently. So this one had not a card base with an opening that opened. It had just a Real Red card base. They got glued onto another piece of Real Red, which I didn't quite understand what the purpose of that was other than to make it sturdier. And then there was a piece of this designer series paper that flipped around. So it was whatever the measurement was, it was measured so that you put it on the back and flip it around. And if you wanted to, you could just leave it the way it was, or you could make this a gift card holder. So this is also one of those things I sometimes call a card within a card, only this is more like a card on top of a card. So we did have to stamp in this circle, but we used ephemera for this. This was given to us, but it's using the Distress Tile embossing folder. And so this doesn't come out, this just opens, and this is where you would write your message, even though this goes up over it. But there's no glue, or there is glue here, so that this could be, I don't have any where I can reach them, but picture a gift card. A gift card could go in there. So I left mine open. Not everybody left theirs open, but I like gift card holders. And then there was just, the directions were here. And the group was called Linked by Ink, and it's a group of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from our area. And this was kind of teaching you as a demonstrator how to do mystery stamping. But I still don't quite get it. I don't know, maybe I'm a little thick. It's just me, I don't know. So you can buy the Memory and More card packs, or you can buy the Memory and More pack. The Memory and More, my gosh, I wish they would give them different names, but I understand why they can't. You can buy the Memory and More card packs, or you can buy the Memory and More envelopes and cards. So the envelopes and cards are actually going to be an envelope that matches in some way, and the cards will match in some way, but you can put these right on the front. So what I was doing when I first came online here was I just wanted to show you how you could take a card base, and I just grabbed cherry cobbler, real red. I guess I grabbed 2 cherry cobbler. I grabbed old olive, crumb cake, pretty peacock, early espresso, and very vanilla. And I just wanted to show you how this could work. So maybe I could have old olive, I almost said olive green, an old olive card base, and I could put one of these on top of it because this is old olive. Maybe I think that's just too much old olive, so I could take a piece of this and put it, this cherry cobbler, because that matches this, and put this underneath. But still, I haven't gone to a whole lot of work, and I haven't had to do any stamping because I'm building my card using these products instead. So if you've got some designer series paper, you can do that. If you don't have designer series paper, then that's where this stuff comes in. So in this case now, I'm going to put one of these on the front, and obviously I'm going to have to trim it up just a little bit. I'm going to have to cut off about that much, so maybe about 1 inch or a little bit less. And then I can put this on top of it, and there's my designer series paper, even though it isn't really designer series paper. And if I'm not thrilled with that one, maybe I can put this one on there and have a Christmas tree. So you have lots and lots of options. You just want to watch your colors. So this, I think, is garden green, and I didn't get out a garden green card base. Some people will say green is green, don't worry about it, and I might agree with that. The other thing that you could potentially do if you wanted to make a card going this way would be to just cut those edges off so you don't have the garden green showing, and then it would look just fine on here, and you would just see the 2 deer. And that could be the front of your card, and then maybe that would be when you could possibly bring in one of these, hang on, one of these sentiment strips, or one of these pretty, these would be too big because you don't want to cover up your deer, but what if you put, let's punch out this one because I'm going to put all these in a case or a bag or something. So this could be your card front, and you could have just sending cheer put right here maybe, or if you don't like it covering their legs, you could put it up in the corner, and then you've got a card that way, and you've not stamped anything. You don't have inky fingers. Some people just don't like the stamping, and like I said, I don't understand that because I love it, but I know that until you get better at it, it can be frustrating, and I make mistakes too. Yesterday at that card class, I think at least 2 times, I stuck my finger into ink and then looked at my hands and realized that if I didn't notice it, I would have gotten that on my card, or worse yet, on somebody else's card. And that's just terrible. If I yuck up somebody else's card, I would feel just awful. So I wanted to share these products with you before it's too late. Unfortunately, these things are not included in the sale at the moment, but the stamp sets are, and the kits are. So I would highly recommend those. And I know we haven't actually made a card tonight, but I think because I showed you so many cards, I think you've got the idea. I will also share with you, for those of you who do like to stamp, that we have some really nice sentiment scents. So this one is not a Christmas one, obviously. They're all in cursive, although they all have a slightly different font. They have that beautiful line, which is really great because if it's a smaller card, it just goes off the edge. You just stamp off, and that's no problem. And if it's a bigger card, it may go all the way to the edge, and that's fine. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. It seems to look good no matter what you do. So we have happy anniversary, congratulations, happy birthday, a million thanks, speedy recovery, and save the date. And I was talking to one of the ladies in my class yesterday. I don't even have a problem. So the cards that we made yesterday, oh, I don't think they're anywhere where I can reach them. But the cards that we made yesterday had a strip of cardstock down the side that didn't get colored or anything like that. It didn't have any designer series paper on it. And it was a light enough color that I said, you could stamp one of these, yes, going in this direction, And then she said, or I could just turn the card around and then it wouldn't be in the wrong direction. I said, yeah, yep, you're right. You could do that too. But I don't mind if a sentiment goes in the wrong direction. It depends on what it looks like and what sentiment it is and what card it is, but I don't mind at all. This one is an online exclusive called Softly Said. And it's called Softly Said because, and it may be hard for you to pick this up on the camera, but the images of the words are like watercolored. So they're lighter in some places and darker in others. And when you stamp them, you might think that you did something wrong, but you didn't. That's the way it is. They're large and bold, which I sometimes really like, especially for a thank you. You are loved, so you've got, 5 sentiments in here that cover a bunch of things, because even celebrate can be for birthday, anniversary, graduation, you name it. These are wonderful. And then we've got the Unbounded Love Bundle, which does come with dies and stamps and so on, and some DSP. But the sentiments are really, really nice, and there's a bunch of them. So there's sympathy, and I know I've said this before, but I like sentiments that contain a sentiment set that contains what I call an innie and an outie, and we're not talking belly buttons, okay? So here you have my heart goes out to you, and then you have with sympathy. So one could go on the inside of the card and one could go on the outside, and you could decide how you wanted to do it. Here you have celebrate, and then they could open the card and see happy birthday, or the other way around. Let's see. I like this one. It looks like it's 2 different stamps, but it's one. Faith is being sure of what we cannot see. Love never gives up. Hope is believing in a brighter tomorrow. So those are almost like quotes, and I like those as well. Peace makes the world a better place. But I've also, I want to make sure I'm not lying to you again. Sometimes I lie to you. So yeah, I did. I lied to you. I just had a feeling I remembered. So these are separate. So you could just use those words on a card if you wanted to. You could use these in combination, however you wish to do it. So peace or peace makes the world a better place. And then you've got all these little ones like little one, friend. You've got this feel better soon. So it could be celebrate the little one. There's no welcome. I always like a card that says welcome little one. But this one doesn't have welcome. But it has so many things that you could use for a variety of things. And then for Christmas, we certainly have some sentiment sets as well, but I really enjoy these. Sending love and light this time of year, and wishing you peace and joy. And may your days be merry and bright. Wishing you a holly jolly Christmas. And then there are some Christmas sets that are just nothing but sentiments. So if you are into stamping, or you don't mind stamping, if it doesn't scare you, then buy a good versatile stamp set that has multiple sets in it, multiple stamps in it rather, that will work for a number of things. And we've got those for sure. So something that works for maybe birthdays, anniversaries, typical celebrations, get well, whatever, and then a really nice one for the holidays. Sometimes people like to say Merry Christmas, other people just like to say Happy Holidays. Whatever it is that you like to say, or that the people you're sending cards to like to receive, you should have enough choices in those sets. So one for holidays for sure, and one for general, and that's a great way to start, because people always ask me, what should I start with if I'm going to start crafting, if I'm going to start card making, what should I start with? And that's my answer to them. Start small. I know I shouldn't say that, right, because I'm trying to sell you things, but honestly, you don't know until you start a new hobby if you're really going to enjoy it. So don't go spending hundreds of dollars. Spend maybe $100, maybe a little more than $100 to get what you need. Pick your favorite colors of ink, or possibly use your just use a black ink. I did want to show you one thing. I don't remember if I showed you this last week or just talked about it, but I wanted to share this with you. So our black ink pad is Memento Black, so it's not made by Stampin' Up. All of the Stampin' Up ink pads are made in-house at our facility in Salt Lake City, Utah. But this is one that we buy from another company, and we've been using it for years. The Stampin' Up ink pads, the new ones, and these are newer, have a foam pad, and they soak up the ink really nicely, and they ink up the stamps really nicely, and there seems to be general consensus that most people like the new pad better than the old. The Memento pad and a couple of our other pads that we occasionally get are what we call a linen pad. So it's kind of a fabric, a piece of linen that is adhered to a piece of, not exactly foam, but something, so they're not as squishy. And sometimes it doesn't ink up as well as it should, and people get frustrated. One of the things that I find that helps me if I know I'm going to be making cards using this is I put this upside down so that all the ink comes to the surface. Now, you may or may not know this or have noticed this, but Stampin' Up! Ink pads, when they're sitting right side up, the ink pad inside is actually upside down because the ink pad is here. It's adhered to the top. So when you open a Stampin' Up! Ink pad, you are now flipping it right side up. But until you open it, it's upside down. So the ink is always right there waiting for you. Wasn't sure that you knew that. But because some people find this to be frustrating, I saw another demonstrator. It was Creativity with a Cave, Dina Rico. And what she did was she took our Whisper White pad, which comes uninked. And there's a reason for it. I don't remember the exact reason, but it comes uninked. So when you buy the Whisper White pad, you automatically get the inker, the re-inker as part of it. And you take this white re-inker and you ink up the pad, but it comes to you with no ink in it at all. So what she did was she bought an extra one. I did too. And yes, it comes with the re-inker, but that's fine because I can always use those. And she took that blank pad and she inked it up with the Memento ink refill. And now it's on our ink pads that are spongy and that we know work very well for us almost all the time. Whereas the other one, the Memento, is sometimes you have to be patient. Let's put it that way. It's not great in classes because people are impatient with it, and they also don't know all the tricks because they haven't been doing it so long. So now I have a black ink pad. Now, Stampin' Up! Used to make a basic black ink pad, and I haven't been a demonstrator long enough to know why they stopped making that. So I just crossed it out what it said and wrote inked with Memento Black. And I will be using this a lot. Doesn't mean I'll totally give up on this because sometimes I need multiple black ink pads, especially at a class. But it's just a trick. And if you are not happy with the Memento ink pad, good grief, and you haven't purchased something different to replace it, this might be the way to go. So just a thought, just a little hint from me. Thank you very much for joining me tonight and for watching. I do have some news for you. I think I may have mentioned that my family and I are going to a wedding of a very close family friend, and his wedding is happening in Ireland. So we're going to be away for a little while. Now, the wedding is just a weekend, and many of the guests are just going for the weekend and then leaving. I've been to Ireland once before, but I could happily go back again. It's a wonderful country. It's beautiful. But my son and my daughter-in-law have never been there. They've never really been out of the country other than Mexico, the Bahamas, places like that. So we've decided that, why go there for just a weekend? It seems kind of silly. The airfare is the same no matter how long you stay. In fact, sometimes it's a little bit less if you stay longer. So we're going to stay at least a week and possibly rent an Airbnb while we're there. And I have no idea, I can't take my tripod with me. I can't take things. I kept thinking I could work out some way to still do a Facebook Live, but I think it's not realistic. So for now, I'm going to tell you that I do not think I will be coming to you the first or second week in December. So it's a ways off, but I'm just throwing it out there now. And I'm also going to visit a relative of mine, and I'm leaving tomorrow. And I'll be with her for a couple of weeks, so I don't know that I'll be coming to you next week or the week after either. At her house, I might be able to do something, but I'm honestly not sure. So for now, let's just say I won't be coming to you the next 2 weeks unless you hear otherwise, okay? So thank you very much, and don't forget about me while I'm gone, and I'll join you again soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Hey, Barbara Miller.